Hey flower buds, it's your yoga and mindfulness guide Ebony here, and yeah, I'm in my car and barely looking at the camera because I am actually driving. I just wanted to connect with you guys because I keep promising that I'm going to tell my story about how I manifested California and this move happening and this new job and all that fun stuff. This transformation has actually been taking place for years. It started when I first started doing yoga and started wondering about the mind, how it worked, and exactly how powerful it was. 2014, I got my certification as a yoga instructor, and one of our first writing assignments was what do you want for yourself? What do you want for the world? And I wrote down that I wanted to have a serious awakening, a life-changing, reality-altering transformation, and I wanted to be able to facilitate it with others. So with that being said, I set this course myself. I really did. And that was back in 2014. Well, careful what you wish for, because all of a sudden, everything that happened afterwards, that relationship and moving into the house I was in, really awakening experiences in some crazy ways, all led to me opening my mind more, hearing about things like Napoleon Hill and, really looking at The Secret. I was familiar with The Secret, but I hadn't really dug into it. Looking into cognitive development and things like that, just trying to understand why, we come to know and understand the things we do the way we do. Obviously, while you're looking and poking around into these things, right, the transformation starts with you. This, powerful undertaking of my ego, my soul, my higher self was all happening. And honestly, I wasn't listening to my higher self for a good amount of years. Fast forward to last year, where I had this breakup, and finally I was just okay, I've got me right now, and that's it. I knew that the way that I looked at things in that relationship was not healthy. And at life, I was, anxiety ridden and depression ridden at that time, and I was putting on a big show for everybody, and I was sick of lying. I was so sick of lying. And so I set out to find, learn, and know my truth for what it was. I had to pause and look at directions, so I might be at a different angle now. Still not a good one though. I started looking for my truth, and I knew that needed to first start with me getting back in tune with myself. So I started working out. I started paying more attention to what I ate, and then after doing some research and trying some things out, I decided to go with veganism, to really put in the work. At that time, because it was appropriate for me, that in that cleansing process, I was meditating about an hour a day. I went back to doing yoga for a full hour every single day, which sometimes you'd be doing 30 minutes, and you'd be that's fine. Really, that investment of time in myself, that commitment process of just really coming to relearn myself and get back into contact with my higher self. It had been there the whole time. It was just being very, very smothered by everything and everyone because I didn't feel comfortable speaking my truth. I don't think at the time I knew how to. Change sides. All right. So along with those things that I was recommitting to, listening to my higher self and things like that, I had to ask myself two very burning questions that I think every human being should ask. Who am I? That's the big one. And what do I want? Those are not easy questions. You can't just say, well, my name is. Well, what does that mean? What are your values? What are your beliefs? What made you that way? What, makes you tick? What makes you passionate? Why do you get up in the morning? If you don't have that fire in you, there's no point in living. After doing that, I literally wrote down what I wanted and who I was. Cannot be written down, obviously, but I went back to childhood memories and the things that I had been complimented on for years and years that I'd kind of, tried to hide, because other observers can see the light in you so often, and we kind of shy away from that. That was a beautiful experience. It was a hard experience. It took, I didn't do this in one sit down, obviously. Like, this was months of hour-long meditations, hour-long yoga sessions, working out even, like all those times that I was dedicating to myself and getting silent and being tuned in to the self so that it could be broadcasted, by the higher self. And so I kind of opened up that channel so that I could hear over the airwaves, if you will, what exactly my higher self was saying. I wanted to move to California. I knew that this was the next chapter in my life. This was something that at first I did not speak on. Now here's why. When you're planting seeds and you are getting ready to manifest something, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about it. And at that stage, their energy is not needed. It can actually damage your manifestation. So in the early stages, like, I really just visualize, I write, I journal, and I get happy. I put myself at the emotional frequency every single morning of what I would feel like waking up in California, going to the job in California, doing this, and I kept doing the work every single day. Now, when I say the work, I don't mean like I was looking for apartments or anything like that, like nothing. I kept living my life. I stayed dedicated and committed to what I knew I was supposed to be doing. Going to the gym, doing yoga, meditating, writing. And I always acted off my intuition, whether it was to talk to a certain person or go to a certain place. There were good days and there were bad days, but at the end of every day and at the beginning of every day, I was like, all right, so California's happening. First thing I woke up thinking about, last thing I thought about before I went to sleep. I would just visualize what my room looked like, what emotions I would have, and all those fun things. So I reached out and continued to do the work, and I knew that everything would happen in perfect alignment, and I wouldn't have to go looking for things, I wouldn't have to worry about things, and when I got the call, I would be able to go. So I had applied to that job like 5 months ago, didn't really hear anything for 2 months, so I took that as like a no, but I still had that knowing, and I still kept doing the work every single day, every day. So then another door opens up and somebody says, hey, maybe not that place, that position, but right across town. And it ended up being, a better fit. It ended up being more flowful, kept doing the work, and yeah. So then you guys know I came out to California very sneakily a few weeks, a month or so ago. Time's crazy, man. Had some awesome experiences, met some awesome people. On the train ride back, I had this emotion. If you're about to walk into a birthday party, right? You knock on the door and you're standing in the doorway and you're like super excited. And you know it's gonna be fun beyond that door. You know there's like all your friends there, but like you have that few seconds before somebody opens the door. Same basic concept. So on the way back from California, I'm sitting on the train and I'm like, all right, I just knocked on the door and I know somebody's gonna answer and I can't go back. But that's good, because you can't grow where you're comfortable. So it was uncomfortable because I knew there would be resistance with leaving my hometown, leaving everybody I know, coming to a city I don't know, driving for 2 days with all of my belongings. But I kept reminding myself, You know, I visualize this working and working effortlessly and smoothly, and that's what it's going to do. Fast forward about a week after I come home, I got the call. And it was a yes. I had set it up that way a whole year ago. I knew that day was coming. Even still, the emotions that washed over me, if you can believe it, were 10 times what I had been visualizing every single day for a year. As if that was, I didn't even think that would be possible. I was jumping up and down, I was teary-eyed, I was freaking out. And this is all while I'm at work on one of my breaks, so I'm sure I looked like a crazy person. All this time, even after I got the call, I did the work. And I can't stress that enough. My 3 biggest things to make this happen for you is to start where you're at, first of all. You have to truthfully assess where you're at, what you want, who you are, and what that looks like. Ask those burning questions. Be willing to dig into yourself, because that's really what we're all here to do. We're all here to know ourselves more deeply and meet some fun people and have some fun experiences along the way. But to know thyself is the purpose of this life. The second thing is to, again, with that truth, let it shine a light on your life and look at everything that doesn't align with your truth as far as the values, beliefs, actions, everything to do with your truth. I smoked cigarettes like for years. Lord knows, with my anxiety issues, I just wanted to breathe and go outside and get away from people. Once I started looking at my truth, what I'm put here on earth to do, and like the way I wish to honor my body, I couldn't do it anymore. Same with everything else I was doing. I don't drink anymore, personally, because that did not align with me, but that's different for everybody. We all have that little voice inside of us that's like, you ain't supposed to be doing that, or yeah, do that. Listen to what your heart says or shows you. The third thing, be diligent, even on the days you do not feel like it. The days that like you could do anything but, or the days that like all the crap in the world goes wrong. I still told myself, I was like, nope, even here, even I know this, whether I have $10 in the bank or whether I have $10,000 in the bank, every single day. If you could do it on your worst days, you can do it any day. So be diligent. Sitting here in traffic, I'm so grateful. I still feel like I'm in a dream. I feel like $1 million. I'm still doing the work. Do not get me wrong. Like, I have been this whole entire drive meditating, you know, visualizing what life in California looks like. Honestly, if I could tell you anything, if you take anything from this video, it's that manifestation is real. It's so real, and all you have to do is see it, believe it, and know it. Everything is within your grasp, and do not forget that. So flower buds, thank you for weathering this low quality video. Thank you for listening, for watching, being willing to do all of these things for yourself too. That's so exciting, and I can't wait to see what you put into bloom. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as well as my guided meditations on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. I love connecting with you even more. So, of course, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. There is a Twitter, but y'all ain't on there. Alright, I'm going to be a much safer driver and stop, like, vlogging. Okay? But I do love you guys. Thanks again for watching. See you next time here in the garden. See, it's weird when I don't do the hand thing, but I have one hand on the wheel and one hand on this camera. So I'll just like bop my head. See you next time here in the garden.